Have you put your name in for a free horizontal hive? Like and subscribe, and one of these hives could be yours. Hello beekeeper friends, I'm Ricky Rourke. Today we're going to talk about, did I kill my bees? We took honey off of 2 boxes, and one of them was this one and one of them was in my building. And you may have seen my wife with me when we did that video, and we took honey off of them. Everything went great. It was probably about a week later when I noticed this hive started getting robbed, and I did everything I could think of to stop them from robbing this hive. I put reducers on it. I even put a blanket over it, splashed some waters, and I did get the bees to leave the hive alone. Knocked some pots and pans like it was raining outside. But the next day it was on again. And I put the entrance on it where it changes the location of how to get into the hive. I put one of those on there. It just seemed like everything I did for this hive, it would not stop. So I haven't got in here to see if I killed this hive or if there was something else going wrong. And I will note the location of these 2 hives are pretty close to each other. And where I feed my bees at, it's right in the middle of that. So you'll see one part of the video that I shot earlier where this hive was sitting at. And then you'll see where I feed my bees at. And then just across from that, you'll see the hive at the barn. And that's my hive that I've had, man, since I started beekeeping. And it hurts losing that hive. And we'll go look inside of it next. But let's tear into this one. You can see the bees have just totally took every bit of the honey out of this hive. This whole top super was completely full of honey, and I left it for the bees for this year. You can see there's nothing left of it. Nothing but empty frames. Man, see some brood right there that hasn't hatched out all the way. Yeah, another empty frame. Wow. I'll tell you what, let's break down into the bottom of this hive. This was a Cornelia hive. I had noticed that they had slowed down on producing a lot of brood. The hive size had gotten down a little bit, but you know, I do have some Italians and they're really bad to rob. So let's check in here and see what we get. Nothing but dead bees. I do believe these 2 frames was full of pollen. I had taken a frame of pollen out and stuck in a new comb inside here for a swarm that I had caught earlier in the year, or late in the year, excuse me. Wow. Nothing but empty frames. It looks like some leftover brood that was trying to hatch out was gone. Same thing again, empty frames. So, you know, I'm going to say that with this hive, because of where I put that honey station to feed out versus where this hive was at, that probably caused this hive to die. So, big mistake on my part. Have learned greatly now that when I feed, it's probably going to put them boxes right back on the hives or not feed out at all. So at least till spring. This big mistake, my fault. But let's go check out the horizontal hive in the building. I did look through it yesterday, and there's a little different story there. So let's go check it out. So this is the hive that you see me and my wife get into probably about, I'd say, a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And we took 2 supers off this hive, and we took about 6 frames of honey out of this hive. I was in this hive yesterday, and I took out probably 9 frames, maybe 10 frames of honey out of this hive that the bees had not completely cleaned out of this hive, even though they had destroyed the bees in this hive. So let's dig in and see what happened here. So we can see here, dead brood. Got lots of bee bread in here, and again, good brood. Lots of bee bread across the bottom. You know, this hive was going to be really good in the spring. And I think right here is kind of tells you what happened to this hive. I caught a swarm probably Octoberish, maybe late September, early October, and I believe, as you can see, these queen cells right here, that this hive had swarmed and it was trying to requeen itself. And we'll see more of that as we go on here in just a few minutes. Again, more dead brood. And right here at the top, got another queen cell. So right here, you see it? That's the one. Now I found another queen cell in here. I'll show you the next frame over, and it hadn't even hatched out. So either this queen didn't come back or hasn't come back yet, which I assume she has, and she probably didn't get mated because it's late season, or she just didn't make it. But this is what caused this hive somewhat to die. And again, I believe where I put that honey between these 2 hives, I caused a robbing situation, and man, it cost me this hive. So big learning mistake, and you know, I really hope if this helps somebody else, you know, it's worth showing. But it seems like here lately, this fall, I've showed more bad stuff than good stuff. We had a lot of good stuff going on in the spring with swarms we was catching, and the apiary was growing and things were going real good, but man, I tell you what, here lately, it's been rough. And you can see this spot right here. This is where it had a queen in it, and she hadn't hatched out. And I went ahead and got in here and tore that out just to see what was inside that. So there's some bees really wanting to get into this hive right now. I've got it sealed off, I thought, but there's one flying around in here right now that really wants to get in and start rubbing some of this bee bread, and there might be a little leftover honey in some of these cells. So anyway, I appreciate y'all. God bless.